What up? What up? How's everyone doing? We have a episode of no WNBA. Let's cap. This is just MLB today. No WNBA at all. We have the Commissioner's Cup tomorrow, and then yeah, I mean, I think things are dying down. I was just talking to Munaf right before the show. Things are dying down as far as like hoops goes. Obviously NBA just finished. Hopefully you had a great season, Munaf, and I'll let you talk about a lot of things, but man, we haven't done a show in man. I don't even know how long now because I took a long layoff for Let's Cap and brought it back. But yeah, definitely gonna have you on a lot more often, especially with the NBA not taking a lot of your time right now. So have you
Yeah.
in for MLB? Because I mean, I think when I first had you on the show, we had you started with MLB when we were
Yeah.
breaking that stuff down. So that was always fun to do that. And now we're using the moneyballer.com to do everything. We used to use it's like a site that doesn't even work anymore. I already forgot. I already forgot what the site was called, but yeah, we used to use that site that had all that stuff and information that we have, and then that went away, and I was like, all right, fuck it, let's go build something else.
Yeah.
So moneyballer.com is the way to go now. But obviously we use other sources like Give Me the Dog. Yeah, Spodevs. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Our guy Mitch was there. He was OG right there. Spodevs. But yeah, how was the NBA for you, and how's MLB treating you so far?
Yeah. NBA was good, man. The playoffs were really good. Boston at home had been a really profitable angle. I was really high on Dallas coming into this playoff series as well. In the playoffs, I know I took them on the series against the Clippers. I took them against the Minnesota Timberwolves as well. I
Mhm.
did bet the Boston side, Boston game one in the Boston series for the NBA Finals. So that came to fruition rather fairly easily. But yeah, playoffs were really good. You know how it is for the regular season. It's just a day-to-day grind with the amount of games that we get every day. But
Mhm.
NBA was a lot of fun. I know you and I were just talking offline. Is like I honestly don't ramp up MLB till that around that week that we have off between the first game of the NBA Finals and the conference finals ending. So that's where I kind of get caught up and looking at pitcher stats, trends, things like that, where these teams are stacking up. So now like you mentioned, with only baseball and WNBA going on, like the focus for me right now is on baseball before we do get to the football season.
Yeah, football season is about to be crazy. And later on, I'll let you, obviously plug your show because you do a lot of content and all that stuff, and also like during the NFL season when that pops up too.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into it. Let's start diving into the games here. I'm gonna bring up themoneyballer.com. First game up, and this is gonna you the chat if you guys are available to just throw any games out there that you guys want to see, but one game that myself and I think Munaf touched on this game already too, but it's the Marlins and the Royals. Just diving into it real quick. Royals are heavy favorites at home here. They got Reagans versus Munoz. The rating system doesn't see too much of an edge here, and that's the reason why I kind of stayed off of the full game. You can see that the rating system gives a slight edge to the bullpen for the Royals. But the way that I dove into this game here is really the team total on the Marlins side,
Yeah.
and we'll dive into some of those trends in a little bit. But schedule wise, Marlins first game on the road here after a few series at home, coming off a win over the Mariners. The Royals first game at home off of a long road trip there. They're coming off two straight. Actually, they just got swept by the Rangers, so that's really tough to lay that whole price after the way that they've been playing. But if you start to dive into some of the stats down here later, we'll see why I like the Royals basically. And so looking at the last five starts from Munoz, he had a rough start here. Two of his last three have been really rough. Only lasted 4 innings. In this one, gave up 6 earned runs, 3 home runs, man. So when he gets lit up, I mean, he gets lit up in bunches.
Yeah.
Reagan's, he's been pretty consistent, consistently on the 6 and 7 inning mark, 1 to 3 in the earned runs. There's a game here where he gave up 2 home runs, but obviously the Dodgers, one of the better offenses in the league. Now we come down to the splits. This is where things get crazy. So starting pitcher, you can see Reagan's here 3-1 as a home favorite, Munoz 0-3 as a road dog. But this is the part that really sticks out to me right here in the team splits versus
Yeah.
left-handed pitchers for the Marlins. Marlins versus left-handed pitchers in the first five, 4-20-3. Marlins versus left-handed pitchers on the full game, 4-23. And then if you look specifically as a road dog, 110-1 in the first five, 111 on the full game. And then on the opposite side, I mean, from overall, not a huge percentage, but look at them as home favorites. They get it done, right? 11-2-5 on the first five, but 11-3 on the full game. And from a total perspective, we're seeing some first five unders, right? 7-3 to the under here, 10-3-1 to the under there for the Royals. And then I like to look at last 30 days when it comes to the stats.
Mhm.
And you see there's a slight edge to the Royals, and the Marlins are really struggling on the offensive side of the ball. Only 3.1 runs per game, not a lot of power. They're striking out a lot, not taking a lot of walks, so they're really not seeing the ball well at all. From a starting pitcher matchup, edge here to Reagan's, Munoz is really struggling here with the 6.43 ERA and the FIP at 7.93. And then the bullpen, you can see a slight edge to the Marlins here, but it's not like not super great, I guess you would say. The WAR is 1.2 on the lower end of the league here, but
Yep.
when you're looking at some of these metrics here, they look pretty solid, right? The way that I took this game, I split it up in three, and it was because a lot of it was because of the trends and some of the stats here. But I took the Marlins first five team total under, full game team total under, and then the Royals on the first five run line. And if we go to give me the dog and we dive into this here, we go season equals this season, team equals Marlins, and versus a starting left-handed pitcher, and on the road. So specifically on the road versus starting left-handed pitchers, this is them 1-11 straight up, 10-2 to the under, and you can see that first five run line right there, 9-1,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see here less than a run per game on the first five in the spot, and then 1.5 on the full game, and you can see here, I think you mentioned it earlier, the total 3.5 on the full game.
Yeah,
it only went over that once,
yeah.
so. Those were the only ways that I look at it. I split it between all three bets there. I split a unit between all three. How were you looking at this one specifically?
Yeah, you made a lot of great points, especially about the Marlins and how bad they've been against left-handed pitching. You look at some of the advanced metrics on the offensive side of batting things. I mean, they're bottom six, bottom five in most offensive statistical categories there. So couldn't talk you off your look on the Marlins team total unders. I think Cole Reagans, he's pitched pretty well, but he just hasn't gotten the run support. I think this might just be the game where the offense does break out here a bit. They probably have that sour taste in their mouth, getting swept, getting back home after a long road trip. I did play the -1.5 full game for the Royals. I would expect Reagan to at least go 6 to 7 innings here. I know the bullpen's been a little bit shaky for the Royals, but if you're able to get some type of length out of Cole Reagans here, I think that they can definitely cover this run line rather easily. I mean, you already laid out the numbers about the Marlins against left-handed pitching. Not going to regurgitate all of that, but also you take a look at the temperatures in Kansas City today. It's going to be 100 plus at game time. Winds blowing out as well. I think that's only going to help the Royals in this spot here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they get close to scoring 7, 8, 9 runs here, do both bulk of the scoring, where Marlins maybe get 2 in this game. So just based on everything about how bad that the Marlins have been against left-handed pitching, I play the full game Royals -1.5. If your book offers that -1 for first five, I couldn't talk you off of that either. But I do like them in the first five as well, RC.
Yeah, that first five, I got it at -150, and I was okay with laying the juice just because of a lot of things were pointing in that direction. And yeah, I mean, just a single run. And if you look, I think it was you who mentioned this too earlier offline, but Marlins in the first game of a series on the road, that was you, right? Yeah, 2-9 straight up, and you can see that gap right here in that first five. A significant amount of that full game difference is right there in that first five. So yeah, I mean, I feel real comfortable with at least with that first five look, and like you said about the bullpen not being the greatest, so you avoid that, right? But
yeah,
I mean, I feel like what you're saying is legit as far as like the Royals bats kind of coming alive in this matchup.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I think we dove into that one pretty well. What did you take any other bets today, or if the chat, if you guys want to drop any games you guys want to dive into live, we can always do that as well.
Yeah, I know. You and I were talking about the Red Sox offline and how bad they've kind of been
Mm-hmm.
in game ones in particular at home. I think they're like 1-11 straight up and 1-11 on the run line at home for whatever reason. And I don't know if they just don't come out focused or whatever the case might be. But I don't know. I'm not sure if I could have got there with this game. I know they have their best pitcher, Tanner Houck, on the mound for the Red Sox. And I think it's Chris Bassett going tonight for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have just not been profitable for me for this season. They've just been really inconsistent. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's coincidence, but I don't know if they're just not coming out focused in game one or whatever the case might be, or they're tinkering with the lineups, are the Red Sox. But it just has not been very good for them, at least in game one. Game two, they bounced back very nicely in those series. But this was one I had on my short list as far as getting on the Blue Jays in this game here against the Red Sox, just because they're at home and how bad they've been.
Yeah, real quick, just pulling up what you mentioned. The first game at home, first game of the series at home for the Red Sox, 1-11 straight up, right? And look at the big gap here. As far as like the score, right? I think what
Yeah,
just
they're
close
not
to two,
scoring.
close to four. They're struggling in that spot here. Only going over 3.5. What would be the team total today? Is it 3.5?
They're favorites, so they're probably going to be 4.5 before
Well,
the
yeah,
eight and a
they
half
haven't
total.
even gone over 4.5 in a single one of these games.
Yeah,
And then one thing that I did look at is, if they traveled, right? If they were on the road, then home, and then look at that. It's even crazier. They're scoring a run per game,
yeah.
bro.
They
That's
haven't scored more than
crazy.
two, right?
Yeah, they haven't scored more than two.
I mean, I think if it's definitely going to be 4.5. I want to say the total's 8.5 in the game.
Mhm.
With them being favored, it's definitely going to be 4.5. Let me just double check here.
Were you just so you were trying to get to the money line, right? Because I mean, they're Blue Jays are dogs.
Yeah, I was
Well,
trying to get to the Blue Jays money line in this game. Maybe even all Blue Jays minus 1.5, just because how bad, like you would just looked it up how bad the Red Sox have been
yeah.
in those first games. So
All right, let's dive into the numbers here too. Then, all right. So you said, so yeah, Bassett and Hauk. So
yeah,
our rating system likes the Red Sox.
yeah,
So by a big margin. But looking at those trends is crazy though. All right, so let's dive into it. So they're going first game of the series, right? Like you said, first game home off a long road trip. These guys been on the road for a while. They lost 3 straight to Cleveland, so they got swept.
yeah,
All right, looking at the last 5 starts for Bassett, he's been solid, and Tanner, he's been solid too. I mean, I don't see anything concerning there. Looking at the last 30-day splits, how 5-0. First five for Bassett has been pretty solid. Um, Bassett has been an under team there. So this is concerning, right? I mean, obviously that's kind of concerning there.
yeah.
Struggles on the road as a road dog. I mean, on the road and as a dog in general, they haven't been able to really. They haven't won as a dog versus right-handed pitchers in the last 30 days. That's 0-9.
Yeah, and that's what's making me nervous, right? As well, right? Is
Yeah.
that it's just this Blue Jays team has their just not living up to expectations, or they've been very underwhelming thus far this season. About
Mm-hmm.
especially with all the hype that they did have coming into this season as well. So I wrote it out on my short list.
I
I
see.
just
Yeah,
don't feel confident about it.
I see your concern. Then that makes sense to me. So there's that edge here for the Red Sox. The starting pitcher matchup actually looks pretty even.
Hmm.
Maybe some slight room for negative regression, but still not something not too significant. Um,
Did you take a Red Sox team total under then?
Red Sox team total under. Let's look at that again. So
I mean, they haven't even touched 3. They've had one game in that span where they've come in off of a road game
mhm.
or a road series, I should say, coming back home that first game. They haven't scored more than 2 runs in any of those games.
What kind of run support? He's getting a
Now the thing with Tanner Houck is that he's getting the run support. That's the one that
Mhm.
again that part that
He's
makes me
definitely
nervous
getting
as
one.
well.
All right, let's look at home. Man, this one's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, so the under team total 4.5, because they can win. You can see here they won a couple where they didn't have to really score much, but then there's 3 games that went over. Yeah, I mean, I could say I would think that you could pivot and take a team total under on the Red Sox, right? Because they could end up winning the game, but still the Blue Jays struggle on the offensive side of the ball or whatever. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Maybe a full game under. I think Apollo's mentioning it as well in the chat.
Full
Full game
game under.
under.
Yeah, that makes sense. Both offenses have not been consistent. Yeah, full game under seems solid. What's it at now? Are they
It's 8.5.
8.5? And it opened at 8.5, so it's staying consistent at 8.5.
Yeah.
I mean, it's moving towards Boston a lot. I mean, like at the number, wouldn't I feel like at this price, you would probably want to take a stab at the Blue Jays.
Mitch says the Jays better doo-doo right now.
Yeah.
I agree.
So yeah, it would be under or Red Sox team total under. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Or even, man, I would at plus money though. I mean, just Blue Jays make sense too.
You don't take like Blue Jays first 5. I can talk you off of that. I mean, I know their bullpen hasn't been great either.
Mm-hmm.
For Toronto, I know Chris Bassett. He's been historically, I think I want to say he's been pretty good against the Red Sox as well. I'm not sure if he's already faced them this season or not. But I know historically he's been pretty good against the Red Sox lineup.
Yeah, and so the Red Sox have been striking out at a higher rate, and Bassett is somewhat of a strikeout pitcher. So, yeah, I think the under or the Red Sox team total under could be a solid play there.
Yep,
that makes sense to me. All right, let's move on to a different game. I think someone on Twitter mentioned Detroit Philly. Did you have any other games that you wanted to dive into?
I think that was the 2 that I was looking at for today. I think Seattle Tampa is pretty interesting, but if you want to get to Philly and Detroit first and go from there.
Yeah, let's do that first since someone posted it on Twitter. All right, so Philly Tigers are dogs at home, plus 138. You have Nola and Mize, Casey Mize. Man, 1-5. He was a top prospect before too. I remember that.
Yeah, he was like a number 1 overall pick, wasn't he?
Yeah. That's kind of crazy. So Phillies, definitely an edge to the Phillies from the rating system. We actually have a baller system on the Phillies too, backing them. First game of a road trip, non-divisional series on a nice winning streak. So it looks like momentum going into the road. So schedule-wise, did they sweep them? No, they won 2 in a row.
They won. Yeah, they lost the 2. Oh, they lost the first one because I took them on the run line in the last 2 games against Henry and I think it was Ciccone on Sunday.
Yeah, Ciccone. Detroit coming off a huge win, 11-2. Yeah, that's an outburst. I mean, look at the rest of the games. 1-1, 0-1.
Yeah,
they put 13 here after they blew them up. 13 here and then 1 the next day. I mean, that could be the same shit this time around. Nola, he bounced back a little bit here off of this start against Boston.
That was his worst start. Like he was really good on the road, but that ERA is going to be inflated just because of that start against the Red Sox where he got blown up.
Especially if we just look at the last 30 days too, because that limits it a lot. All right, so he's been pretty consistent. Only pitched 4 innings in this one against Atlanta.
Yeah,
that's interesting. So he doesn't go far at all. So we have to look at the bullpen,
especially if Phillies are able to get to him early in this game, it might be another maybe 3-4 inning outing for him again.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, so looking at the split, I don't see anything too crazy. Nola 4-1 here. Casey Mize though in the first 5. So 2-0 in the first 5, but 1-1. That means their bullpen kind of struggles, right?
Yeah.
Looking at the totals, overs here for Casey Mize as a home dog, but in general, nothing too crazy. Nothing really pops out. to me, as far as on the total side.
Yeah, you're probably not going to get a lot, especially with it being an interleague game with American League team and a National League team as well. But
all right, so looking at the stats here, definitely the edge on offense to Phillies. Yeah, definitely an edge to them. Okay, so starting pitcher matchup. I mean, it's actually pretty even. I think the only difference is Nola gets his run support. Casey Mize doesn't.
yeah, I want to say Mize has also been better at home versus on the road. If you look at those splits,
Yeah,
I want to say it's like a 9-day difference between home and road for Mize.
Okay, yeah, we could dive into that. And then the bullpen edge to the Phillies. So if you're looking towards the Tiger side, it would probably be early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, their bullpen's really solid. Okay, let's look at Casey Mize here. You said at home?
Yeah, if you want to compare it at home and on the road, it's really a 9-day difference for what he's had success at home and just been fade on the road.
4-3. So last few starts, he's been able to get some run support.
Yeah.
And then so if you look at him on the road, same 4-3. Oh, that's interesting. Okay,
Which kind of tells me like what you mentioned is if you want to bet him, you probably want to do it in the first 5 innings.
Damn, he gets no run support in the first 5 on the road. All right, so let's look at home again. He does at home.
Actually up almost.
Yeah. Up a half run. And let's look at them as a dog. Home dog. 2-2. Yeah, it looks like first 5, the edge is towards Detroit.
I wonder what their like plus half is in the first 5.
Plus half in the first 5.
Minus 115. Minus 110s.
For Detroit?
For Detroit, first 5, yeah.
Okay.
On the run line.
I mean, that makes sense to me. So let's look at Nola first. Aaron Nola. As a road favorite on the first 5, run line first 5 as a favorite, 2-2. 2-2. So it must be these starts right here where he gets the wins. Minus 178. So that's heavy. That's tough. Because look at his first 5 runs given up, 1.2 only.
Yeah.
And the total is at 8. You can't even look at a first 5 under either. Because the Phillies offense.
It starts with 1-3-1 for a first 5 over under.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, first 5, 3-1-1 to the under.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be that's a low number though. Because today's total 8. Oh yeah, 7.5.
There's a 4. I see 4.5s for first 5.
Let's get rid of that 10.5. Let's and see what this is like. 4.5, dude. That's like right at it. Let's just say on the road in general. Yeah, seems like he got lit up right here against the Red Sox.
Yeah. That because I remember that game because I think it was him and Tanner Houck that faced each other in that game. I took the under 8.5, and Nola just gave it up within the first couple of innings.
Yeah, this one's tough. I wouldn't know where to go with this one. If you want to back Tigers, it'd probably be early.
Yeah.
But other than that, most things seems like it should be a Philly spot. Because of the bullpen and the offense. All right. Did someone say another game? Rangers game or Rays?
Said Rangers or Rays, yeah.
Oh yeah, you said Seattle Mariners, Rays. Okay, so let's look at that one. All right, Mariners, Rays. Looks like a pretty even matchup here as far as the line goes. Wu versus Bradley. Wu's been pretty dope this season for us. Mariners, they got a +3 on our rating system, mainly because of the bullpen here. And everything, the other spots, starting pitcher and team batting looks pretty even. All right, so Mariners, they've been on the road for quite a while. They lost to the Marlins there. Damn, they lost that series to the Marlins. Okay. And then the Rays, first game back home off a long road trip. Oh, they just beat Skeens too. I remember. Okay, yeah, we were just talking about that yesterday. Wu, he's been pretty solid. Man, he's been really good for us.
Yeah.
Only pitched 4 innings though. I think
The
that was
last
because
start was his bad start. Yeah.
Yeah. That could be because he had, you know how we talk about rhythm and being able to pitch every 5, 7, 6 days or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Could have been this that he was off rhythm. Bradley gave up 7 hits, only 3 Ks here. Yeah, 9 runs there. Okay. Splits. Damn, look at that. 0-4-1 in the first 5 for Bradley.
Dodge Bradley, yeah.
Okay, and then unders here for Bradley as well. The splits, team splits. Man, so just looking at the split, it seems like Mariners first 5 type of a look off the bat. So Rays versus right-handed pitchers in the first 5 last 30 days, 4-8-7. 5-0 to the under here as well. I don't really consider them as a home favorite. I think it's just because it's a minus at home. Nerfy? No, nothing. I mean, just off of the splits, it seems like a first 5 on the Mariners side. Looking at offense, pretty even. I mean, the Mariners strike out a lot, and Bradley's a strikeout pitcher, so that's going to be a problem for them. Pitching matchup, potential for negative regression here for Wu. And bullpen, I would say that's pretty even.
It may just be like first 5 under.
Mm-hmm.
You could turn into a pitcher's duel.
Yeah. And I could see the Mariners bats struggling here against Bradley just because of the whole strikeout piece.
See 4s out there for the first 5 total.
4?
Yeah, it's juiced to the under like around -125.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. First 5 under. First 5 under here. Let's see. Brian Wu. Four? You said 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not, I mean, on average, under 4 right here. So that makes sense to me.
And Bradley's been really good at home as well. I mean, if you take his home and road splits, it's I think something similar to Casey Mize as far as his pitching stats go.
Mm-hmm.
He has a 2.10 ERA at home and 8.16 on the road.
Damn, look at that shit.
Yeah, I think Mitch mentioned that he's not getting any type of run support in the first 5 at all.
Taj K's, yeah, that looks about right. Makes sense to me. Yeah, man, under. Big R says Nerfy. I can't see. I don't know. I don't know about Nerfies. Oh, well, actually, you know what? So what we're looking at right here is 5-0 to the Nerfy for Taj Bradley at home.
At home, yeah.
So that aligns there. I mean, there's a 5-0 to the full game under as well. I mean, should we focus in on?
Did you just take the Rays team total under first 5?
Man, that makes sense. What is that?
It probably would be
1.5.
Yeah, let me see. Let's go to innings.
1.5
props. It's tough with 1.5s, man. I hate playing 1.5s.
Yeah, because they could just get lucky and shit.
Yeah.
Let's look at Rays. Rays in the first game of a series at home, 4-9 straight up, only averaging 3 runs.
Yeah, it's 1.5 minus 135 to the over.
Hey, check this out. So if we take this and say only 2 starts, but he got rocked. I mean, not rocked, but they didn't score nothing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. I mean, I could get down with a Rays team total under either the first 5 or full game.
Yeah, the game total's at what I think 7.5 is the number for full game. Maybe you find a rogue 8 out there, but yeah, it's mostly going to be 7.5s.
Mariners on the road, first game of the series. That's over 4. Let's look at. Is there any Brian Wu? None.
Maybe take a look at them at home, RC. Like I think if their next series is at home for Mariners, I think they're like 11-1 in the first game of the series at home. For the Mariners. I know they're on the road, but when they do go back home, that first game they've been really good.
11-1 straight up. Damn, they have been. Man, yeah, I think if I was to bet this one, it would probably be focusing in on maybe that Rays team total under. That makes sense to me. Or I mean, maybe that like what Apollo was saying or Big R was saying, just the under in general.
Yeah, I couldn't talk it off. I even have like that a 4 under 4 in the first 5. I mean, worst case, maybe it's like 3-1 you push, but I mean, we saw that like they're not getting any run support.
Yeah.
For Taj Bradley at home, so.
Yeah. Under 4. All right. Yeah, I think I could get down with that. Under 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that one down.
Makes sense because I mean, if the Mariners are gonna get, they're probably gonna strike out a lot, like what Mitch was saying, Taj Bradley over strikeouts, so they're probably gonna struggle with runs too. I like it. All right.
It's just generally not a good offensive team, especially on the road. Mariners.
I got time for one more, and I think I saw another game in there. It was.
I think I said Rangers, right?
Rangers, yeah, that's what it was. Rangers. All right, Rangers and Brewers. Brewers, one heavy favorites here at home. Lorenzen, man, I've been waiting for this dude to get lit up. Lorenzen and Peralta. Brewers have the edge on the rating system, and it looks like it's mainly because of the starting pitcher matchup. Yeah, starting pitcher, slight edge on the team batting there, but an edge to the bullpen for Rangers. There's a baller system on the Rangers here. I think it's the same system that we saw earlier for one of the previous games. Momentum going into the road. Rangers on the road here. They've won 4 in a row here. Going back into that New York Mets series. Brewers first game at home. 2 series after 2 series on the road. Last 5 starts. So he's been last 3 games starts. He's been giving up some home runs. He's lasted pretty long here though, 7 and 6 innings. Not really a strikeout pitcher. If you look at Peralta, man, he got lit up right here. I remember that one. And then bounced back strong. No runs given to the Angels.
Yeah.
He didn't get he didn't get a lot of run support, but still got it done there. 2-0. Splits by starter, 4-0 in the first 5, 3-0 as a road dog. Unders here, so I mean opposites. Unders for Lorenzen, overs for Peralta. Damn, look at that. Full game under for the Rangers versus right-handed pitchers, 6-15-1.
And they've had a lot of guys in and out of their lineup. I know they got a couple guys back, but it's been complete opposite of last year, where this Rangers offense, like you blink an eye, they had 5 runs up, but this season it's just been a struggle for them, man.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, offense, Brewers, they have the edge there. I mean, they don't have a lot of power, though. I mean, like only 19 home runs. Their barrel rate and hard hit rate is low, so there could be, I would say, potential for negative regression, right? They got a lot of speed though. That could be a reason why they're getting up there. So if they're getting walks, getting stolen bases, they're putting themselves in good position to score. And Lorenzen, not a strikeout pitcher. Peralta definitely is though, but Rangers don't strike out a lot. Doesn't seem like.
No.
Damn. See, this is what I'm talking. I'm waiting for Lorenzen to continue to get hit, like lit up super hard. Just so much negative regression that I could see, but it just hasn't come to fruition yet. But he has been giving up home runs, so I mean maybe it's slowly getting there. Bullpen seems pretty even as far as bullpen goes. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, I think Peralta at home, I want to say they've been giving them really good run support at home. I want to say I think they were undefeated to the over in Freddie Peralta's starts at home this season. You mentioned, like, we're waiting for that Michael Lorenzen game where he absolutely just blows up, and I don't think he's faced this Brewers team since, I want to say, 2019 when he was with the Reds. It's the fact for me, it's that I trust Peralta more at home. I know you mentioned he had that one bad start, but it's just the inconsistencies of this Texas Rangers offense and what you're going to get from them. And it's crazy to say, like you mentioned, they only have 19 home runs on the season. That's just not what we saw
the last 30 days.
The last 30 days.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's crazy with the amount of talent that they have on the roster, especially in their everyday batting order. So I'd lean with maybe like first 5 Brewers here, if anything, or maybe a Brewers team total over would be worth a look as well. So I don't know.
Let's look at him on the road. So it's, man, that's the part that sucks, is like the total opposite, right? Unders versus overs for both of these guys. But man, like I said, I just feel like that negative regression is going to be coming here for Lorenzen, but you can't. It's just hard to time it. On the road, 6-0 on the run line as a dog. Man, he's all right.
He's been good.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't want to step in front of this one, but
yeah, I think it would be a stay away for me.
Yeah, this is definitely a stay away game, but I think just from a offensive perspective, I could see the Brewers continuing to, the way that they've been getting runs is usually, they're seeing the ball well, to get into scoring position, right? As long as they continue doing that, I mean, against an offense that's really struggling right now, I can only look their way. And also just waiting for Lorenzen to get lit up, man. I think it's going to come at some point, but I don't know who it's going to come against. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to step in front of this one, but definitely lean towards the Brewers here in some way.
Yep.
Awesome, man. We broke down some good games here. Hopefully I only placed those bets from earlier, the Royals in that Royals game. But let's take the screen share down real quick. All right, so real quick before we get to the top looks and closing comments here, just want to make sure everyone knows about the moneyballer.com, the site basically that we use throughout the show today. Obviously you can see we have a whole bunch of information and insights on a single page for every single matchup. It's not only just MLB though, we have the WNBA as well, and then obviously the NFL is coming soon. With WNBA, we are doing an overhaul of the look. We're gonna have our models show up, and we're gonna include like team totals and all those other trends that people have been requesting. So like I said, the moneyballer.com, we're really trying to make it a one-stop shop for all the handicappers and everyone who wants to like validate stats and bets and stuff like that. We're not a pick site. We're not telling you exactly what to bet. That's not our role. That's not what we want to be. We're really there to support the handicappers, those who really want to study the game and do things on their own. I mean, obviously we'll, our baller exclusive stuff, we do recommend plays and what we see and what all the insights that pop out. But for the most part, that's not our goal. We just want to be part of the community as a handicapper as a whole. Just like how we do Let's Cap, right? We're just doing
Yeah.
all this stuff on the fly, sharing information and all that stuff. That's what we want to do. With that said, this is the last month to have basic free access. Once it hits August 1st. Once it hits August 1st, everything is paid. Basic access and baller access is going to be a paid service. So we just want people to see that there's value to what we bring to the community. So yeah, sign up at themoneyballer.com. All right, with that said, top looks. Before you get to the top looks, I do want to make sure that you get to plug everything you're doing, because you're doing a lot of great work, not only on Twitter, but you have your own. You have the shows with SGPN too,
Yeah.
that are doing really well. I mean, I think you guys closed out the NBA season, the prop season, like super strong. I think you're doing WNBA props, or the channel's doing
The
WNBA
channel
props.
is, yeah.
Yeah, with Rel and those guys, they're
And Scott, yeah.
killing it too.
Yeah.
I've been watching their show, Scott and Rel. They're doing really well with the WNBA. So make sure you guys check that out. And then Munaf, definitely plug what you got going on too.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, right, NBA gambling podcast on YouTube. Obviously, with NBA being over, the guys are still doing WNBA content, so check them out. They've been on a heater, to say the least. I think that's really putting it lightly. How great Scott and Terrell have been doing for WNBA, so check them out. I know you've had Chris on your show a lot. Me and him do the prop cast with strictly player props. We started our NFL content just last week. We did the NFL MVP awards market. We'll do, I think, Coach of the Year this week. So get over to Propcast on YouTube, and also wherever you get your Spotify or Apple, where you do get your audio podcast. And then also, obviously, with MLB here, we do daily pods and some rotation of the hosts that we do have Sunday through Friday. We actually record a day early so you could get ahead of the lines, get the best number. Usually go around 5:00 Eastern time for the next day games for MLB. So check us out there. But yeah, you mentioned RC, NFL around the corner, college football around the corner. So the work never stops, my man.
Love it. All right, well, drop a top look for the people here.
Yeah, I think it's really that first game that we talked about, RC, the Marlins and the Royals. I'm gonna go Royals full game -1.5. I expect Cole Reagan to go at least 6-7 innings here. Again, we talked about how bad the Marlins have been against left-handed pitching. I know if you just went through it on the Moneyballer website there. So again, like RC said, check them out. They do absolutely fantastic work. Everything's just on one page for you, man. It makes it just so easy for you to handicap games. But yeah, I like the Royals here. I think that they could probably walk into 7-8 runs here tonight. Should be a comfortable win for them. So yeah, Royals -1.5 would be my top look for tonight.
Love it. I want to be able to make sure that I'll give the people like the stuff that we already bet. So one of the three, I split that game into three. I mentioned earlier. It was the team total under in the first half, full game for Miami, and then also the first 5 run line for the Royals. I know it's a little pricey, but I mean, out of all of that, I feel like that run line is the most confident out of the 3 bets. Because I mean, like you said, I would say it would, like, in order of like confidence, it would probably be like the Royals first 5 run line.
Yeah.
Full game under on team total under for Miami would be the top 2 that for that game specifically. I'm not sure I'm going to get to any of the other games that we talked to, but I feel like we broke those down pretty well as far as like numbers, trends, using Give Me the Dog as well to pull some other content. Other trends that we from a starter pitching matchup perspective. So yeah, with that said, that's the end of the show, guys. Make sure you guys follow Munaf right there. You see his Twitter handle right there. And then SGPN Network over on YouTube as well. That's where all the shows are at.
Yep.
And with that said, if you guys like the content, share it with your friends, hit that like, subscribe button, all that. If you're on Twitter, repost it, retweet, or whatever it's called now. And then also, always got to end the show like this. And if you remember this too, whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your actions. Till next time, peace.